Welcome to part 2 in today's video of these different covenants God has created. We talked about the Adamic covenant, we talked about the Adamic covenant, and today we're going to be getting into the Noahic covenant. So the blessing and promise of the covenant, Genesis 8:20 through 22. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, took every clean animal and every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. And the Lord said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground for a man's sake, although the imagination of his heart was evil from his youth. Nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, seedtime and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, day and night shall not cease." So we see burnt offerings offered up after the flood in the days of Noah. This means that blood was shed for the cutting of the covenant. And we see God is promising that he will never flood the earth again. And the sign of this covenant is the rainbow. The condition of this covenant was unconditional. And the fact that we've seen floods since this covenant was made, well, if it was just a local flood, then God broke his covenant and did not hold to his word. But if it was a global flood, and we've never had a global flood from the time of Noah up till now, then God has kept his covenant. So those saying, oh, well, the flood was just a local flood. No, it said all the high hills were covered. And it says hills, not mountains, because mountains didn't come until after the flood. Well, how did it get so high that it covered Mount Everest? Mount Everest wasn't there yet. And it happened, and it came to being at the end of the flood, because the continents, which were way bigger back then, and was one covenant, broke apart and collided together a few times because God split the foundations of the deep, and the majority of the water came from under the world and shot up. Because even after it quit raining for 40 days and 40 nights, the waters were still rising. So the Noahic covenant is unconditional, and it is still in effect today. The next covenant that was made was with Abraham. And pretty much God made a covenant with Abraham in the place, but it was made with Jesus. And we see this in Galatians. And let's actually read that. All right. Now Abraham and his seed were the promise made. He said, not two seeds as many, but as to one, that is the seed which is Christ. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before God in Christ, the law which was 430 years after, cannot disannul that it should make the promise of none effect. So God made a covenant with Abraham and his seed, and the seed is referring to Christ. So let's get into the Abrahamic covenant now. The blessing and promise of the covenant. Genesis 12, 1 through 4. Now the Lord had said to Abraham, get out of your country, from your family, from your father's house, to a land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. And in all your families the earth shall be blessed. So Abraham departed, and the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. Hebrews 6:13. For when he made the promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no one greater, he swore by himself, saying, surely I will bless you and multiply. Flying, I will multiply you. So after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. For men indeed swear by the greater, in the oath of the covenant which is in them, and an end of all dispute. Thus God determined to show no more abundantly to the heir of the promise and immutability of his counsel, conferring it by the oath, that by two immutable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, he would have stronger consolation, who have fled for the refuge to lay hold of the hope set before him. So, when it comes to Abraham, we see a few things. We see God made a covenant with him, and he made a covenant where Abraham was standing in a place, but it was with Christ. And the very seal of this covenant with Abraham was circumcision. And the blood that was shed was, one, his own blood, and two, animal blood, which we will be getting into these two in a little bit. And this covenant is unconditional. And the way that we are to get in the covenant that was actually made with Christ is to get into Christ. And that covenant can never be broken. But this is pretty much what we're really going to be getting into when we talk about the new covenant. So this unconditional was, or this covenant was unconditional. The cost of the covenant, the blood of animals. Genesis 15, 9 through 10. So he said to him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, a young pigeon. Then he brought all these to him, cut them in two down the middle, and placed each piece opposite the other. And he did not cut the birds in two. So we see the blood of animals, but then we also have the blood of man. Genesis 17, 10 through 14. This is my covenant that which you shall keep between me and your descendants after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin. It shall be a sign of a covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old, you shall be circumcised, or you shall be circumcised every male in your generation. He who is born in the house or brought with money for any foreigner who is not your descendant, he who is born in your house and he who is bought with the money shall be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. and the uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. So this is the Abrahamic covenant. It is unconditional. Now in the next video, which is going to be part 3, we're going to be getting into the Mosaic covenant. So thanks for watching for a really in-depth, more spirit-led teaching of these things. You can watch my streams Monday through Friday on Twitch and Facebook. And remember, Jesus is Lord.